This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 41.
Another one from Brian Deemer.
Welcome to the show. We're glad you're with us here. I'm Brian Deemer.
I am Peter Rios. X-Men.
Fires. Superman.
Batman.
Colossus. The Phantom. We got a Geek of the Day.
We can be sexy bitches too.
Bite Me Fanboy. How did you first get into comics? This is Comic Geek Speak.
We love them.
ComicGeekSpeak.blogspot.com.
It's just so entertaining.
This is Comic Geek Speak, in conjunction with WorldFamousComics.com. I'm Brian Deemer.
Well, I'm Scott.
I'm Kevin Moyer.
I'm Jamie D.
I am Peter Rios.
We are sexy bitches, yeah!
And welcome to our 41st episode. Before we get into the show here, I have a few things. We want to remind everyone to join, to enter into our newest contest. The deal with our contest is we need a segment of the show to cover manga, and we also need a segment of the show to cover anime, because none of us really know a whole lot about those areas. So we're hoping that there are some listeners out there who can help us out. The deal is what we want like a 2 to 3 minute, maybe 3 to 4 minute little snippet sound clip or whatever of you talking about and reviewing, mentioning some of the newest manga or newest anime or whatever. If you want to spruce it up with music or clips or whatever, that's totally cool. So produce a sample segment, send it in to us. You have until the end of August, and we're going to go through all of them. And the best one from manga and the best one from anime, we're going to ask you to do a regular segment for our show so that we can have a constant stream of anime and manga news and entertainment. So that's the deal. Again, you have until the end of August. And I want to give everyone an update on my goal of getting to $500 for the MS-150, the bike ride that I'm doing to raise money for MS research. I am up to $265, I think, because the last time I checked. So I'm more than halfway to my $500 goal. So I really, really appreciate all the fans who have donated money. It's awesome. If you want to contribute, you can do so on the blog, comicgeekspeak.blogspot.com. There's a link on the side. It goes right to the MS Society's website where they can take credit cards. All I'm asking for is $1 from people. I thought if I had 500 fans who could donate $1, so far, not a single person has donated $1. It's all been $5, $10, $25, $100. So I really, really appreciate that. So we're going to go to Kevin Moyer, who's going to do for us his very first video game segment. Kevin?
All right, thank you. All right, what I thought I'd do for the first video games segment, I thought since there's quite a bit of superhero games out there, I thought I'd focus just on superhero games this time. So I'm going to start with games that are out already and available that you can play at this point. And the first
I want to play new games that aren't out yet, Kevin.
Well, then we're going to have to wait until after I get to the third game, okay?
So secret. I don't even know what that means. It's very intriguing.
So mysterious. So the first game I want to talk about is Batman Begins. I thought this was one of the better games. I feel DC has been lacking in this market as far as producing well-deserved game for their characters for quite some time.
Most of them are pretty stinky.
Yeah, the best ones.
Do you play video games, Scott?
Yeah.
Microphone?
Yes,
okay.
I play them. I haven't played the Batman game. I played some of the older Batman games. They were pretty limited. Some of the Superman games kind of stank.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's kind of putting it mild. The Batman movie games, I thought, were the best DC games ever put out. The original Batman and Batman Returns.
And that's going way back.
Yeah, that's going back on the Sega Genesis platform. So since then, they really haven't had a good hit as far as a quality game. But I felt, as well as with the Batman Begins movie, the Batman Begins game is a good step up from
Let's ask the Hi-Fi Magic 8-Ball, is the new Batman game good? It says, the stars say no. Hi-Fi design.
Hi-Fi design.
Did I say graphics?
No, you just said Hi-Fi that time.
No, the Hi-Fi design. The stars say no. So I don't know.
All right. I guess I'm not a star. So So what I'm going to do is when games that are out that I can review, as I'm going to put them in categories. I have gameplay, graphics, and sound, and I'm going to do a 1 to 10 level, so you can kind of get an idea of what the quality of the game in each category. And I'm going to give gameplay for Batman Begins a 7. I feel that they really caught the character of Batman and gave it a lot of the effects of what that type of character and how he would operate. They tried to incorporate a lot of different things. You'll find a lot of aspects of the gameplay are actually sort of repetition of other games. Like you're going to see like a lot of the things with...
Like I bump magic mushrooms and I grow bigger and I
exactly,
collect stars.
Yes, and you ride like a little polka dotted monster, you know.
Okay.
But no, they added a good stealth part of this. Like this, a lot of the times they encourage stealth moves, which you find a lot of that in like Splinter Cell and such. So I felt that was very similar to that type of aspect of gameplay. One of the interesting parts of the gameplay was with the combat. I mean, you're encouraged to do good fighting because you have your punch, kick, and you can do some extra special moves in fighting multiple people. But it's not a focus of the game. They try to get you to focus on doing alternative things, and one of the things they really focus you is to get the reputation of Batman, to increase his reputation of fear. So when you're encountering multiple enemies or such, it's not just to jump in and try to beat everybody up. It's throw a batarang at a barrel or something so it ignites, and or hit a steam pipe and it startles the people, and it increases their fear of the Batman. So it's something that's kind of interesting. That's something I thought new that they had incorporated into this type of game that I thought was interesting. So so that was where I thought was interesting, but where it lacked was that there was a lot of repetition. It becomes stale after a while, which is where I thought it kind of failed onto. The graphics I gave an 8. I thought the graphics looked pretty cool. I thought they were very well done. The animations were good, but even the actual gameplay and the surroundings and the scenes were very realistic looking. So I gave that an 8. But I think the overall thing that really it was the sound that really shines in this game. The music was really good. The soundtrack was good. I thought the special effects sounded very realistic. And what rounded it off was the actual actors from the movie doing the voices for...
Oh, that's always cool when they do that. They
Yeah.
did that with some of the James Bond movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
games.
And that seems to be a big thing now, where
They're getting paid
that's
lots of money
Yeah,
for
it's
that.
all part of the contract that they have to do that. Yeah.
Right, it's set up that they do that as well as the movie
Hey, I'd take
itself.
an extra couple $100,000 to do some studio
Hey, why
work.
not?
yeah.
Voiceover work's real easy work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Voiceover
Oh.
work in
and it pays well. I
No,
don't mean
no.
easy, but
actually,
I mean,
there were people at the Wizard World Con at the voiceover panel who were saying the same thing. They're like, "This is the easiest job in the world. You go in, you sit in front of a microphone, you talk for a couple hours, you get lots of money, you go home."
right.
Yeah, and it's becoming a big thing with video games. I mean, it used to be about radio and commercial voiceover. Now it's like video game is the next area that's really
It's because it
blowing
makes
up.
more money than movies.
Heck yeah.
So it's a big industry.
Yes, it is, and it's grown with the next generation consoles. I mean, the industry has just boomed in multiple ways. So that's what I thought with Batman Begins. Now, I
What do we got? Some clips here?
Yes. Now, the first clip is going to be, I think, the large extended trailer, which is going to show you multiple aspects of the game. You're going to see different ways that you operate into this game.
Do you know which file it is here?
That's the first one that you have.
The first
there.
one?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to play this clip, and I'll have the sound up so that you guys can hear it. But we're just going to hear us talking and hear our reactions to the clip, which I think is kind of a cool idea. That was a little streak that went across the screen. And the EA logo. Very exciting. My God, it's really like a trailer here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the old DC logo.
DC Bullet. Well, this was produced before the
Yeah.
new logo came out.
What the hell is the Batman?
Well, those is that actual graphics from the game, or
That's
is that
actual-
just a?
Well, this is an actual cutscene,
Oh, that's a cutscene, and
but
not
the graphics are that similar in the gameplay.
because that's cool.
But look at
looking.
the scenery, and such. It looks very realistic.
Yeah, and his costume is exactly the same as the movie.
Exactly.
You think Falcone will be in the pen long? The guy's
Oh,
got
they're
a
using
bank account
Falcone,
full
that's
of
cool.
get out of jail cards.
got a few days peace and quiet anyway.
Oh, there's that cool Batmobile. Do you get to drive that in the game?
Actually, yes. There's about 10 levels in the game, and 2 of the levels you do the driving with the tumbler.
That's awesome. Oh, is that
The
that's
lighting
this is the
effect
game
in that
now?
is really neat.
This
See
is the
that?
actual gameplay that
Oh,
you're going to see.
that's very cool looking. The graphics are awesome.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Oh, they ghost the guy when you turn around so
Yeah,
you
so
can
you-
see behind it. Like,
Exactly,
that's cool. It doesn't block the camera.
And here's some gameplay with the tumbler.
That's awesome. Well, that looks just like the movie, too, the way you're jumping off of roofs and stuff.
Keep it short, Alfred. Rachel doesn't have much time.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
What's that one video game where you do it? Is it Twisted Metal?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
similar,
it looks
yeah,
like
similar to that.
You don't get points for killing the Gotham cop, do you?
No,
It would be much more fun to just
There's
drive
no-
the Batmobile all day and not have the fighting stuff.
I mean, it is like indestructible. I mean, in a lot of the games, a lot of the levels that you play with the tumbler, it's tough.
Oh, that was cool. It blew up an 18-reeler. Oh.
They get a little crazy with the tumbler. They really keep focusing on the Batmobile.
Well, that's fun. I mean, I love racing games, so that would be fun for me.
And you can kind of see now there's the picture-in-picture deal.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like you're entering a level and these guys are talking, so you can actually kind of see the picture-in-picture. Now you see like he's perched there. Now these are, instead of just jumping down and beating up the guys, look what he does
Yeah, he blows up that steam vent thing
with
instead
the
of...
batarang. And watch, see, reputation increased.
Oh, that's cool.
We have purged your fear.
Wow, that looks
You are
exactly
ready
like
to
Liam
leave.
Neeson.
Yeah.
Ready to become one of the League of Shadows. But first, you must demonstrate your commitment to justice. He is a murderer and a thief. He cannot be allowed to live.
No. I'm no executioner.
So you can see it really follows the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
when you in the beginning of the game when they teach you to learn the controller, aspect of
Right.
it, you do the whole training,
well, that's a good idea.
as Bruce Wayne with, in the house of Ra's al Ghul with Ducard.
That's cool.
So I mean that's where they really follow. And as that training goes on, play the 5th clip.
This one here?
Yeah, and you get a feel for what that training feels like. And to me, I get that feeling like I was in the movie.
This is the training sequence?
Excellent, Wayne. Destroy the strongest of your opponents first, and others will fear you and fall at the mercy you deny them. We'll carry on.
Yeah, these graphics are impressive.
Yeah, the lighting is very good.
Yeah.
But the motion of the character and stuff is almost identical to Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell. I mean, the actual
Right.
movement of the character is almost identical.
Is this for Xbox
Not
or
have come to
PS2?
place
This
if
is
you
for
were seeking
Xbox.
out the easiest
Now,
path.
Do you have an Xbox?
This way
Yes,
is
I do.
barred.
I didn't know
That's
that.
my
Find
favorite
another way
system. That's
through.
my favorite console.
There are more ways around a door than a key.
I thought these training levels were just spectacular. I mean, they're fun. It's not just something you get to learn the controller buttons
Right.
and such. They're actually fun to do, and you get that feel of when he was training in the movie.
Yeah, this looks really good.
They really get you to think through things rather than just, and that's exactly what he did in that training. In that scene that we just heard him talk to him was basically, you had three like ninjas of the League of Shadows standing in a room, and he had to enter that room and had to choose one of them to take him down, and that's what Ducard was saying to him, that you pick the strongest one and take him out first, which builds the fear into the other 2 characters, and that gives you the edge against a group setting like that. So you do the stealth KO to like the one you feel is the leader, and then it already starts undermining the rest of the group to take out. So
That's cool.
so you that pretty much gives you a good encompass of how the game goes, and I thought I was very impressed with what they put together on that game. So all in all, I gave the game an 8 out of 10.
How would you say the actual control of how does that work? Is that
They've
because
gotten-
sometimes they have a lot of
They've gotten very simplified with a lot of the games and the controls, and this is basically your basic punch kick button, and you utilize the triggers. I'm talking about the Xbox controller, and that gives you the extra ability to do moves and blocks and stuff like that. So the control wasn't hard to learn, and they kept it kind of simplified. And that's what they're starting to do a lot in a lot of the games. Instead of trying to make it complicated, that you got to press 7 or 8 buttons in consecutive to make a move go off. You can do combinations.
Fatality.
You know, and, so I mean that's something that I feel that they're really starting to get a grip on, rather than trying to make things super complicated. So
Yeah, because the most frustrating thing, like you brought up Mortal Kombat, was my brother is, let's see, maybe 8 years younger than I am. So when did Mortal Kombat was big? When?
1937.
Yeah. Like whenever that was, my brother was probably about 8, 9,
Right.
kicking my ass,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
you doing fatalities, and
Right.
I'm still trying to punch him.
Right.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So that's Batman Begins. So I give it thumbs up on that. I give it an 8 out of 10 overall.
That's a good score.
For game. So I think Batman fans will be pleased. I think comic fans will be pleased. And even if you're not a big comic fan, I think you'll still enjoy playing the game.
Video game fan.
Yeah. So that leads to the second game, which is the Fantastic Four, another movie game. And I was not as impressed with this game as I was with Batman. There were some interesting things again that they did.
Who's like behind the Batman Begins? Like,
That was EA,
so that's
yeah.
okay.
which has
Electronic
done all the
Arts.
big sport games like the Madden football and all that stuff.
Okay.
So they're venturing into this market. In fact, EA is the one that made the deal with Marvel, and they're doing the Marvel Nemesis, the Imperfects game, which is I'll be talking about later on. I have that game that I want to speak as well. So EA is stretching out into these type of games rather than just doing all the sports games and focusing on the sports games. So next we have the Fantastic Four. Again, using the ratings table with gameplay, graphics, and sound. I gave the gameplay a 6. It's fun to play the FF, but it's very limited.
Which one of these clips? Got a lot of clips here.
Do the first one, and you'll get a. Now what they're doing there, you're fighting the mole monster.
Oh yeah,
And you see you have all 4 characters on the screen.
Do you have
And
to
at any-
control each of them?
No, you'll control one, and the computer controls the other 3. Now you can choose, you can switch between.
Oh,
the
that's
whole
kind of
team.
cool.
That's what I liked
Is
about
that like the X-Men Legends?
Exactly.
Kind of? Yeah.
They borrowed off of that type of gameplay now, because to defeat this monster, you have to pick one of the game. You have to pick one of the characters, and do a specific. As you can see, there's Sue Storm getting to that highlighted area,
Oh yeah.
which was her highlight. Each highlighted area is for a different character. Each color's different. So that meant she had to do that to incapacitate the monster, and now anybody can go up and start beating up the monster. So it
Yeah.
is a group effort. It's not something that you just pick one character, the FF, and you go bananas with. It's something that they do incorporate the X-Men Legends type gameplay with it, which I thought was very interesting. I thought it would work well for the game.
It doesn't look as you have as much
not as
control.
impressive.
You're kind of like locked into a certain scenario. You have to do that thing, and then
Right.
yeah.
And that's is very linear. It doesn't leave a lot of
Right.
room to roam and explore. So that's where I kind of lose gameplay for me. It's fun to play. They have a lot of villains in it. You start out, you're fighting the Mole Man and his Moloids, and then you have Diablo, Dragon Man, Annihilus. I mean, there's just a ton of FF things. So it is fun to play. So there is interesting parts of it. So I think you'll enjoy it. However, it's the very linear gameplay is what really kind of loses it, and limited aspect of fighting with the characters and the moves you have with it. They all have their average moves, your punch, kick, and attacks and such, and then you pull the trigger, which on the right trigger triggers their cosmic powers, and they have a bar which has so much energy in, and they can do special cosmic moves, but that of course reduces the energy, and it only limits you.
Can
to
you play 4-player, or you each control a character?
You can play 2 players is the most you can play
What
at
the
a time.
heck?
Because there's specific levels. As you find when you play the game as a story by yourself, a lot of times you play one character, or there'll be 2 characters in a level, and you can switch back and forth. That's the thing that I like about it. So it's like some levels you only are allowed to play one character, but some levels you'll have two characters, and you can switch in between. Sometimes you have to switch to, like in that clip we just saw, where you have to do something, a specific character has to do it, or it's just your choice of playing that character, which character you would prefer to play.
You should be able to have an all-out
Yeah,
four-player.
four-player
it
would
be
be
nice
cool.
to do that.
Four comic geeks running around killing the mole man. That would be cool.
Yeah.
The Puppet Master's in it too. I forgot to mention him. So there's cool levels like that, and that's one of the fun things. When you do co-play, in other words, if you have two people playing at the same time, then if you go through and play the whole story again, then you'll always have at least two players to play with. And again, you can switch. So I mean, it gives you that openness to play the characters that you may want to play or prefer to play.
So this is like a rental and not a buy.
I would suggest that if you're an FF fan, it's fun to play because you get to kind of experience the FF. It's one of the best representations compared to the last FF game, which was on the PlayStation, which was very almost 2D side-scrolling kind of game.
Right.
It was three-dimensional. You could go into depth in the screen, but it was very limited, and the player options were pretty poor. So this is the best representation of FF on a game, but again, it's kind of limited, as you can see from the clip. And,
yeah.
So I gave the gameplay a 6, the graphics I gave a 7, and the sound I gave a 6. Again, I didn't think the sound and the soundtrack was that great. Some of the graphics are pretty good. Like if you play another one of the clips, and you can kind of get.
I wasn't all that impressed with the music.
Which
in
one
the
should I
movie.
play, Kev?
Hit the third one there.
I thought some of the movie
This is another
stuff could have been on
Xbox game?
This is Xbox.
What the hell are those giant spiders?
Giant spiders, yeah, that's in. One of the levels is they play off the movie theme where you have the cosmic converter, where they were trying to convert Ben back into Ben
yeah.
again. Well, they found out they didn't have enough power, so what happened was there was a lot of meteors that landed in Mexico. So you start out as the Thing. All the FF are there in Mexico to try to locate as many of these cosmic irradiated meteors to try to bring back to New York, so it'll help power the generator.
Yeah, this does not look nearly as exciting as the Batman game did.
I mean, it's sort of interesting, but it's just not the same.
You almost wonder why, like, if they would do like a Mr. Fantastic segment, it couldn't be like sort of like a Mist or Riven-ish kind of thing where you actually have to use your brain power to kind of, you know.
He's the only one in the character that he gets to certain levels. The things that he can do is operate panels and computers and figure out puzzles to unlock doors and things like that. So they kind of try to focus on each character and strengths and weaknesses. But again, it's kind of laissez-faire. It's not what it could have been. But again, they do utilize the characters from the movie. You know, all the actors that played all the parts as far as the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom are the same actors that do the voiceovers in the game. So that you get that aspect of it and get that feel of it. Yeah. So, and I thought the other strong point of the game was that all the different villains. I thought that was interesting that you got to play against and see all these villains and interact.
Oh, yeah, because those giant spiders, I remember those from the comics. It's great.
Well, that's part you'll find out later on as you go through that. What they claim is that the cosmic radiation from those meteors, you know, mutated those spiders. But
that was in those John Byrne issues.
Are those
you know.
like kryptonite?
Yeah, it's like Freak of the Week.
Yeah.
It was in that Harry Potter crossover they did.
So that
it was Shelob had children and.
But as you go through that level, you'll find out that's the villain you're going to face is Diablo, which makes more sense then because you find out that he's using his alchemy to mutate things and to you know have you fight against. So.
Okay.
So that was the FF. So all in all, I give that game about a 7 out of 10. So it wasn't impressive. I thought Batman was a much better representation and a much more fun game to play. FF is kind of fun, but it loses its flavor after a while. So that's that. On to the next game, which is the next game coming out, which is August 23rd, is called Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And basically,
holy shiza, you got a lot of.
and the
that I saw. Was it Philly? I think they had that.
Yeah, I think they had it.
This game.
I mean, the name says it all. It's exactly what it is. Ultimate Destruction.
Total free roaming, right? Like,
yeah, it's a free roaming, like, and they added a lot of wonderful aspects to this game. Play the first clip, and you'll see a good representation of what you can do with this
fancy
game.
logo. live Doppler interview.
I'm Vlad Ciraldi. I'm from Radical.
That doesn't look like the Hulk.
in Vancouver,
Is that the
Canada.
wrong clip?
I'm the
Or
producer
No,
of
this is
the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
this is one of the guys who's the main
Oh, here it
developer,
is.
the producer of the game.
Push the envelope. He's definitely darker than any Hulk in the first game. Or
Oh,
other
he just
games
picked
that
that dude
are
up and
based on
threw him.
Incredible Hulk or even
That's
in the
cool.
movie.
Oh, he's grabbed that guy. He threw him into a car.
Great to-
That's cool. Now he's going to go punch the car.
But there are some surprises.
I mean,
We are pushing
you get to
the
see
envelope.
the fact that there's nothing you can't do. You're
Oh,
not
he just
limited.
picked up a semi and hurled it at.
Talking to,
Oh,
you know,
that's.
message boards online, going
I mean,
That's
the
awesome.
name says it all. I mean, it's Ultimate Destruction. It's the Hulk
One of the key
Unleashed.
features or elements of the Hulk's power we did,
So, is there an
realize
objective to the game other
There
than
is a
just
story to the
beating
game. No,
shit up?
I mean, it
That's
is.
cool.
I mean, the general aspect of the game is basically the fact that you can do just about anything.
Right.
You have a free roaming capability.
He can bound across
Look, here's you got
miles
the
and
lead.
Oh, he's got the
Still-
huge gloves. Like what?
What he does, he takes
so
a
he can
car
actually jump,
and like smashes it and rips it in
chain jump
half
together
and
and
shoves
power
his
up
fist
all your
through.
moves.
So he's
And
actually
Super
has
Bowl
each half of the
bouncing
car
at
on
the
his
right
fist.
time.
He's
and
running up
Get
the-
motion going, getting a rhythm
That's
going.
cool.
In the
I mean,
air,
look
you
at the
can change
look at the
directions and
control of the character and the
power, so
things you
punch
can
in
do
the
with
air
it. I
so
mean,
you fly,
they're
you
using.
can grab on,
See how he
move,
grabs onto the building by
Yeah.
shoving his fists into the building
And just climbing up the building.
and just uses his power,
You
his
can actually,
muscles to leap and.
Oh, he just jumped and he put a whole big divot in the ground where he
sprint-
landed.
sprint through the
And
city,
everything
shouldering different,
is
you know,
interactive.
traffic
You can
out of the
destroy
way, just
whole
totally
buildings.
destroying things, and then
You know,
turn
there's
and
no reason
run,
to, but if you
spinning,
want to, you
push the
can.
momentum up the building.
What do you mean there's no
So we
reason
got
to?
the full-
Well, I mean,
What do you mean?
I often find
What's,
Scott in the side of a building just trying to punch it.
I'm
over.
pound the hell out of it.
free roaming kind of superhero
So I mean
games
that
are out there.
that gives you a first initial one. There's the other clips you can pull up and you can gives you more of a hit one of those QuickTime ones there. It's the same group, Radical Entertainment, who did the movie game, and they decided that after the reviews and the feedback they received from the Hulk movie game.
Fucking Windows sucks ass.
They just played another one of the Windows Media things. Oh, there you go. Now this one without any narration, but it's similar to the. See, now
So-
it gives you a mission. There's destroy the power station.
Okay. In the meantime, he'll destroy this taxi
In
cab.
a taxi cab, yes.
You should probably hit them with innocent bystanders.
I'm just
Is
wondering,
this
when did he get the Hummer? That's all I want to know. Does he go into a car and get the Hummer? That's what I'm looking for in my video games.
But see, you can rip light poles out and use them as bats and weapons, and
And this is a PS2 game?
this is going to be on all generations.
Oh, on all systems.
So it's
Okay.
Xbox, PS2, and GameCube.
Oh,
There's
cool.
the power station. You can see how it's marked there, highlighted for you.
Oh, was that a guy?
If you
He
happen
just-
to care.
I was gonna say so you don't blow something else up.
But I mean, you can even if you don't do what you're set out to do, you can still just go around and destroy whatever you want to destroy and just go nuts with it.
It's amazing how much damage you can do with a light pole.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing,
It's an
If you're the
adamantium light
Hulk.
pole.
one of the things that I like about what I've heard about this game and what you can see from it is when you go through and you start destroying buildings and taking cop cars and throwing them and destroying them, that you rack up points. They give you points for this stuff. And what the points amount doing, it's almost like Grand Theft Auto. Whoever's played
right.
Grand Theft Auto, you'll find out that the more damage and the more destruction you do, the more the cops and the army are going to come after you, and harder they'll come after you. You know, so it's kind of like that. The more you do, the more they're coming after you, and the more they're.
That's the
gonna
best part of GTA. All I do is get in the car and I go and I steal a car and then I beat up some random citizen. I shoot him and then I get in a car and I drive around until the cops chase me and see if I can outrun the cops. That's like all I do.
You get the samurai sword and you can chop their heads right off.
Which one is that in?
Miami.
Oh, okay, I haven't played that
Vice
one.
City.
Vice City.
And that's
yeah.
rated 13 and under, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
for kids.
G.
And in case going along the lines talking about Grand Theft
That was
Auto,
the Harry Potter game I was
if
talking
you
about.
just heard the latest news, about 2 weeks ago they were saying about how you can download programs that you can add in and reprogram the game.
Yeah,
There's actual
yeah.
like sex scenes and stuff that you can put into the game. And due to that fact, they just did it 2 days ago that the game rating board system has ordered that they pull all copies of Grand Theft Auto off the shelves.
Well,
Grand
some
Theft-
stores are doing it.
Well, they're putting the order out that it must be pulled everywhere.
Yeah.
So
well,
whether or not they comply and what will the ramifications be?
Best
but,
Buy said they are, but I mean, I'm sure you can still order online and everything.
So there is method to the madness, so to speak, in this game. That there is a story behind it. There's things that you have to do. There is a storyline, but you do have the free roaming capability and the ability to destroy anything in your path that you choose to do. One of the things that I found that I thought was interesting as well is the voices of the game. Neil McDonough does the voice of the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, which he did the voice for the 90s cartoon. Also, Ron Perlman provides the voice for Emil Blonsky, otherwise known as the Abomination. And also Richard Mole from Night Shift.
Oh, yeah, Bull.
Night Court?
Plays
Night Court,
I'm sorry, not Night Shift, Night Court. Plays like the Devil Hulk is like his evil subconscious. So you can see they're getting into some of that storyline of him fighting himself and his own evil consciousness, and so that's something that's going to be in there. So again, they got some good voices. I think the graphics look phenomenal. I think the gameplay is just out of this world. I think that they've really captured the essence of the Hulk. That you can just do mindless
Hulk smash.
Exactly, and that's what the fans want. I mean, it's exactly the producers of the game again are the ones who did the Hulk movie game. So they looked at it how the how the Hulk movie was received. Either you liked it or you hated it, and that's how kind of the movie game was received as well. You were limited, although it was still fun to play the Hulk, but then there was a lot of scenes where you had to be Banner, you had to sneak around, you couldn't get caught. If you got caught, then he transformed and the level was over and you had to start over again. So a lot of people were kind of complaining and thought it could have been better. So what they did is they took it back to square one and decided, you know what, we're just going to go balls out Hulk destruction, and that's what it is. And they titled it, of course, fittingly, Ultimate Destruction for the Hulk.
Cool.
So I think that is going to be a very fun game. I think comic fans are going to love it. I think even fans of the not comic video game people are just going to love it because you're going to have that free roaming capability and just go bananas and do whatever the hell you please. But you also have a story. There is something behind it. It's not just mindless go smash. That there is a story, so you can get into it and actually play the game. So
cool. Next.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the Marvel Nemesis, which I think, if it comes through as the way they're talking about, that they're really focusing. Now this is being put out by EA Games again, which is who put out the Batman game. And what they decided to do was do a fighting game with superheroes, kind of like a Tekken, Mortal Kombat kind of game. But their thing was that they really wanted to focus on the powers of the heroes. They really wanted to really show, when you play a hero, that you're going to get all the aspects of playing that hero. That it's just not going to be, no matter which hero you play, it's going to be similar with maybe, a repulsor blast, and that's the only option. It's not that. They went beyond that. And if you hit the first clip there, you'll get a good... I think the graphics...
Stomp the Rios.
Actually, do the other one. This is like an interview. They do show a lot of game footage.
This one
gameplay
here?
footage. Yeah, do that one.
All right, here we
This
go.
is one of the scenarios.
This is for all three systems too. Oh, there's Venom.
There's Venom.
You don't have a chance.
And here comes...
Spidey. Nice.
Be kidding. This is going to be too
For
easy.
some reason it said Marvel
Hear that,
Nemesis.
Sebastian? Venom.
Which he was just,
Oh.
as of San Diego, was just released as the character in the game. Now these levels, these areas are completely interactive, so you can pick up objects
Oh, that's cool.
and throw them and use them as weapons.
The graphics are really nice.
They are. And the gameplay seems...
Venom just beat Spidey though. That's impossible.
I know that's impossible, but... One of the nice things that I liked about this game is what they decided to do was, unlike other fighting games and having tons of different moves for each different character, they decided to go along the lines. Now that's one.
Who the hell is that?
That's one of the imperfects. And there's
Oh,
Iron Man.
Iron Man. That's nice. Who the hell are the Imperfects?
What this game is based on is the.
There's a comic, right?
It's a comic that the story is based around a scientist from an alien world, and he's ousted from his alien world, and he flees to Earth. And once he's there, he takes up the task of creating Perfect Warrior, which he'll take back to his planet and try to take over the planet so he can get back on again. Over the course of experiments, he fails, and doesn't make he's not successful in his experiment. So this is where you get the imperfects. They're not the perfect representations. Like it's playing with like similar to like a super soldier serum kind of thing. He's trying to incorporate mutating people into making the ultimate warriors, and of course he's had failures, but they still are. They're still powerful.
Those
characters.
graphics were really nice. Iron Man was doing all kinds of cool shit.
So there, I believe there's going to be a total, at this point, there's going to be a total of 18 characters to play. Half of them will be Marvel, and half of them will be the Imperfects, which are brand new characters developed by EA, and also Jay Lee of comic book fame has been a designer and character designer on the video game. So he's developed the characters as well as created the new characters of it. Now, out of the characters so far, recently they originally just showed you Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine, but recently they released that Venom's going to be in it, Elektra's going to be in it, Captain America, The Thing, and what I saw from the comic, Storm's in it, and also Daredevil. So I think out of all the, I think that's going to be possibly the 9 characters that you're going to be able to play from Marvel.
Cool.
And what I was saying earlier was instead of having 20 different moves to try to memorize for each character, the control system for each character is the same.
It's the same. It just does something different for each character. That's cool.
So there was also a story mode in this. So there is a story behind the whole thing, and you can play through. And that is more to guide you to play each character and different characters.
Right.
But then you can also go through and you can play, combat between 2 people, and you can also, it will have online capabilities to be able to just play against other people online. And you'll also have, I think, a story that you're going to be able to get into and just pick one character and go through multiple levels and just fight through and develop that character and such. So I think it's going to be, if they come through with everything that they chose to do with this game, I think it's going to be a very interesting game as far as a fighting game using superheroes. So it's got a lot of potential. It's coming out the end of this year, so it'll probably be out like November before Christmas time.
I think that thing just said October.
Okay.
The little video we just clipped it at the end said October.
So that will show.
Which means it'll come out right before Christmas.
So play another clip. There's another one. See if you can get. Yeah, go ahead. Try that one. And you'll get a little more gameplay action. It will show you some other characters as well, and you can kind of get a feel of more of the gameplay.
What the hell? Fault Zone versus Spider-Man. Oh, is that one of those?
So you got another one of the Imperfects.
Oh, Peter, she's doing dance.
Come out and play?
I don't know that I'm crazy about they had to invent new characters. Why couldn't they just use villains from this Marvel Universe?
Well, I think it was EA's version of developing their own characters. So, that way they can have licensing, and then hopefully if they're successful, maybe they can develop comics. You know what I mean? It's kind of a licensing thing that they...
It's like 500,000 villains in the Marvel Universe. The gameplay does look cool. Spidey's climbing stuff. And
those levels are destructible, too. So, like, if you see those walls that are surrounding the area...
Oh, he just webbed a trash can, pulled it towards him, and then threw it at this chick. That's cool.
Woman.
Yes.
And you'll see, like, with even at the same level, like, if you, like, here you're playing Spider-Man on top of the Daily Bugle, and that's his fight level. If you would have Iron Man there, since he's a more powerful character, or the Thing, that some of the objects that are interactive, like Spider-Man can lift, but if they're too heavy, he won't be able to lift it. However, Iron Man or the Thing will play in that level, and he'll be able to do more things with that level. So,
oh yeah, he just did that web thing again. That's
cool. So you can see how, you utilize, as you can see with Spider-Man there, you can see they're really using all of his powers.
He's webbing things and then swinging away from her.
He's got the agility and the strength.
I just think that this game would be so much more fun if she was fighting, the Vulture or something right now instead of this person we don't know.
I don't disagree with you there, but this is what they developed at this point, and who knows if this takes off? That might be a way they might travel after that. So.
Oh, and she beat Spider-Man.
That's Spidey's second loss we've seen.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, they're trying to show you.
That's
they're
for shit.
trying to focus on the Imperfects. So So that's what they're developing with that game. So I think
I want to see the Ultimate Spider-Man game. You have that here?
yes, I do. And that's the last game I wanted to talk about today. So funny you should ask. Which, according to again, this is Treyarch, who's done all the Spider-Man games, the Spider-Man movie games, and also the Spider-Man games for the PS1. This company has developed with Activision, and they've really done an amazing job, no pun intended, on the Spider-Man games. The last Spider-Man game, the Spider-Man 2 game...
It was amazing?
Yeah.
Was it
very
spectacular?
It wasn't Web of?
Sensational.
Was it an untold tale?
Oh my god, that's so Web of.
And they gave you the free roaming capability of Manhattan and the interactive missions along with the storyline. And they gave you the whole physical presence of having to have the web lines attached onto the building. So they really, really stepped up and made what I feel is one of the best superhero games ever made. Now, according to what I've heard so far, that this Ultimate Spider-Man even actually takes that to another level. So
they had people playing it at... I think they were playing it at San Diego. I know they had it on the TVs, and I couldn't get close enough, but I'm pretty sure there were people playing it.
Of course.
It looked absolutely awesome.
You know, they play off of Mark Bagley's art from the book, and he actually does character designs for the game. So the characters that will be in the game will either be the renditions that you've seen in the Ultimate Spider-Man book or will see.
And this is cell animation.
They call it. They don't want to. Yeah, it is like cell animation, but they call it like computer inking.
Yeah,
As you'll see, it has more inking style than just having a cell shaded look to it, but it has that cell shaded look
can I
to
just
it.
Click one of
Sure.
these here?
And basically, the story is, of course,
The graphics
is
are awesome.
written by Brian Michael Bendis, and he said the story picks up after the Venom storyline in Ultimate Spider-Man. So
It's a Bendis story, so it's you drink a lot of coffee, sit around, argue with Mary Jane. Is that it?
and have interaction with Aunt May.
No busting. This is a Bendis busting free zone. Hey. There's Nick Fury.
There's Nick Fury, Ultimate Nick Fury.
Or Samuel L., if you will.
Samuel L.
These graphics are awesome.
It is. It's a good idea. I think they're really going to capture
The comic book
comic look feel of it, and they're going to use the motion panels like they did when they edited the Hulk movie, which will help you sometimes to guide you through the story.
Right.
See that? See the story panels you get? There's Electro. You saw the Rhino.
I almost like video games that look like this better than video games that look like video games because you know it's not real, so it feels more natural this way, I think. It's awesome. It really looks like a moving comic book.
I was just going to say it looks like a movie.
Yeah. So they really focused on the Ultimate Spider-Man character to make it different from playing just the Spider-Man character. There will be differences from playing this game as it was playing from the Spider-Man 2 movie game.
Yeah,
I mean, the music sounds cool.
I wish they just had people playing it.
I know. Well, they haven't released any clips of just gameplay yet. These are just like
Yeah,
trailers.
you had to see it at the show. It was awesome.
But I mean, the key that they're trying to do is that you get to play Spider-Man and you also get to play Venom.
Yeah, I saw people playing Venom at the show.
So it's...
Well, the cool part about this is because it's all, I'll call it cell style for this.
Yeah, you can.
Because it's that style, it's hard to differentiate between the cutscenes and the game because the game graphics are exactly the same as the cutscenes.
Right.
So it
moves the game along.
Yeah, it keeps it. You don't feel like oh, the cutscenes are so cool, but then I get to the graphics and they suck. You don't feel that. You feel like it's exactly the same.
And the differences they say is between playing Spider-Man and playing Venom is the combat emphasizes, Spider-Man's incredible strength, and rather than making him look like some kind of martial arts master instead, and the tactics that you have when you're fighting the character or switching between attacks and fighting a large group of villains and keeping them off balance. When you play as Venom, it's more brute. They don't try to focus on being very agile and all that. So it is a different gameplay playing the different characters. Activision claims, though, in this game, in the Ultimate Spider-Man game, will feature the largest roster of villains ever in a Spider-Man game. So that means it's going to be chock full of villains. There's villains that have never appeared in the Ultimate Spider-Man comic. So they're going to take villains and utilize them and make them into the comic. And now some of the villains will actually appear in the Ultimate comic later on.
Slider?
Not Slider. They kind of hinted towards, in the last report that I read, that like Mysterio might be one of the characters. You're going to see the ultimized version of Mysterio. You've already seen that you're going to fight Electro. You're going to fight the Rhino. So that's all that they've released at this point. But to boast that, to say that this is the most, the largest roster of villains ever in a Spidey game is a pretty heavy thing to say. So hopefully we'll see a lot of interesting new concepts of old villains, and they say the gameplay is just wonderful. It's very easy to learn the moves, very easy to control both characters, Venom and Spider-Man. So it's I think this is going to be another blockbuster game, just like the Ultimate Destruction Hulk game. So
Cool. Well, thank you, Kevin, for all your wonderful information.
and also for your DC fans, they just signed. Oh, well, I just wanted to make this announcement. They just released that DC has made a contractual agreement, and I believe it's with EA as well, and they're doing a Justice League game, which is going to be similar to the principle of the X-Men Legends game, where you're going to be able to play the Justice League and have a team of heroes and be able to interact between and upgrade the powers as you learn, earn points and stuff like that. So DC's making a foray into the games now and really starting to make a showing. They're also doing a Superman Returns game that's going to interact with the movie as well.
They're going to have to be levels where they force you to play the Martian Manhunter, or you might as well just leave him behind.
Which they'll do that. They'll do that in the game, just like they do in these games. That in the Fantastic Four game, most people probably want to play the Thing or Human Torch.
Right.
But they force you into playing some levels as Reed and Sue, and as you do it, you don't mind playing them so much. But if you just had the choice,
You'd
probably
never
wouldn't
pick
play
'em.
it. Yeah.
Right.
So
Cool. Well, now it's time to move on to new things. It's time to stump the Rios.
It's late at night, and I got a Jim Dandy sitting in my stomach. That's how we do.
That's your own damn fault. All right. This one's from David Peterson. He's got 3 Seven Soldiers questions for Peter.
Current 7 Soldiers?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Question number 1. Since Frankenstein is coming, always one of my faves, what was the name of Richard Corbin's Warren Frankenstein series based on a juvenile take on the character?
Are we still talking about comics here?
Hey, I don't know. I'm just reading it, man.
was that in Heavy Metal magazine?
Yes. Recently reprinted in a heavy metal special.
So what's he asking for? What was the what? Who the what?
The name of
What
his
was the name of
Frankenstein?
Richard Corbin's Warren Frankenstein series based on a juvenile take on the...
Oh. Frankenstein Jr.
Wait a minute.
What?
He doesn't even have the answers.
He didn't provide the answers with the question?
No.
Oh.
All right.
So we got to...
Next.
resend them.
Well, you might know number 2. What is the name of the original Shining Knight's horse?
Winged Victory.
I'll take your word for it. And
I'll back you up on that.
Mm-hmm.
and question number 3. What Golden Age artist worked on the Spawn of Frankenstein series that was a back-up feature in Phantom Stranger?
Huh. Phantom Stranger? Jim Aparo, maybe? I mean, because he did Phantom Stranger. I don't know, though.
I don't know if he did the back.
Yeah, how can he not have the answers for us? What's that all about?
Well, send us,
he's supposed to.
Rios is supposed to know.
Peter's supposed to provide the answers.
I got the Winged Victory one, so we're golden on that. But if he can resend it, and we'll do it at a future podcast.
Well, he does have like an email here attached to it. He says, "Awesome podcast. Just discovered you with 33, and we'll stick with it. First, I want to say that Morrison's new Seven Soldiers series has renewed my interest and enthusiasm in comics like nothing since the Stormwatch and the early days of the Authority. I got turned on to those initially by Jeff Clock's How to Read Superhero Comics and Why, which is a magisterial addition to comic geekdom. Can you get him for an interview? I never. What is this Jeff Clyde? Have you guys heard of him? I don't.
Guess he
even,
wrote a book.
Yeah, I never even heard of it.
You stumped me.
Wow. How to read superhero comics and why? I guess we should check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do it.
Yes.
We just
Well,
do.
Yeah, we just do. We never ask
I'd
why.
like to know why.
Why ask why?
What do you think of the Seven Soldiers series, and where do you see it going after the current arc concludes in 2006? I especially like Shining Knight, although I like the new Conan. It is a book that I just can't miss. And Shining Knight has the quality of writing art and integration of themes with those more broadly found in comics that it is an example of where sword and sorcery should be at in comics, and why it should be there after Arnold became a popular governor and has now lost it. Clarion is also awesome, and The Guardian. Zatanna has been a little slow, but I liked too and expect it to warm up. I think the group of miniseries is a great comparison with the original Kirby's Fourth World, and more coherent, if not quite as creative, at least so far. And it's fitting that Mr. Miracle is coming. My geekdom is primarily tied to collecting. I just got B&B 30 for my birthday, so eat your heart out. I guess he's talking Brave and Bold. Is that... All right, well, Dave Peterson. So you want to send us the answers, Dave? It helps a little bit. So
Maybe he thinks I look at the emails, so maybe he didn't want to.
yeah, maybe. I don't know, but honestly, Peter doesn't. He doesn't see him until I tell him. So should we do another?
Yeah, do another Stump the Rios.
So that
yeah.
we can come on here.
Pick another.
You've been reading those Seven Soldiers, Jamie, right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just got another one that doesn't have the answers, and he only asked one question. Like what? Okay, 3 questions.
Next.
Oh, this is
Let
a
me-
fairly easy one.
Yeah, what is the name of the dimensional plane where Kryptonian criminals were exiled for their crimes?
Phantom Zone.
Yes.
So that was from Mike Bergen.
All right.
So thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
but
thanks
it's,
for the question.
3 questions, and we do want the answers just so we know. All right, I'll go for another Stump the Rios here. All right, this is from... Oh, it's an audio Stump the Rios.
Cool.
So just give me a second to download it here. And this is from Bruce Rosenberger.
Oh, not again.
Our good friend. Did he screw you last time?
I don't remember. Did he ever give? I don't remember. Who
The
knows?
name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, he's done Geeks of the Day, Geek of the Days, and stuff like that.
What the hell is going on?
The Miracle Man, Mr. Miracle, excuse me, Seven Soldiers is by Pasquale Ferry.
Yes.
So
My freaking
same guy who
iTunes
did,
just locked up. God damn it.
Adam Strange.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I feel is an underrated artist. You don't hear a lot about him, but his work is very, very consistent.
Yeah.
Very strong,
All right,
dynamic.
Here we go.
Hi guys, Bruce R here. My first Stump the Rios.
Oh, it's his first one.
I thought about this a while, and I couldn't believe it. Episode 34 kind of blew one of my questions, but I'm going to do it anyway because it didn't answer the whole thing. These are all Golden Age. I went with 3 different companies. Going to save DC for last because if I recall correctly, that's Peter's specialty. Okay, here we go. Fawcett Comics. Billy Batson utters the phrase Shazam to turn into Captain Marvel. What does Shazam stand for?
I'm assuming he just wants the god names.
I would
that-
guess.
That's what I would think.
Right. So it's Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Achilles.
Achilles, please.
Achilles,
as opposed
excuse
to
me,
Achilles.
Achilles.
I want those
Baby
baby
back
back
ribs.
ribs.
It's literally, it's almost 12:30 at night. And
Yeah, wah, wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah, wah. I got
Yeah.
it right.
Cry, Jim Dandy.
Perhaps if you weren't so
Let's see if
loaded
it
down
worked.
on ice cream.
I know it's like the power of Zeus and the wisdom of Solomon and the
yeah.
strengths of Hercules and the stamina of Atlas and the courage of
So-
Achilles and the speed of Mercury.
I guess we wait like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer? Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Ding, 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 ding.
Question number 2. Marvel Comics. Now we all know that Joe Simon and Jack Kirby are the artists team most associated with Captain America. But how about the Human Torch and the Submariner? Who's the artist or artists most associated with those two characters?
Human Torch is Carl Burgos, and Bill Everett is Submariner.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Human
7.
Torch, Carlos Burgos. Submariner, Bill Everett.
Ding, 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 ding.
And the last question, DC Comics. Golden Age character Flash and Green Lantern. What were their main cities of operation?
Green Lantern was Gotham City. Flash was Central City.
1, 2,
Keystone.
3,
Oh, okay.
4,
Keystone City.
5. The Flash? Well, let's go with Green Lantern first. That's an easy one, actually. Gotham City.
Right.
The Flash is a little more difficult. I was surprised to read this. Keystone City, Kansas.
Oh,
That's
Peter
it, guys.
saves himself.
Peter sweeps a golden age.
Woo! Not only that, I sweep an audio. That's the first time, I think.
Yeah.
No quarters in the bucket either.
No, you.
And that V for Vendetta trade is still
Yeah.
still on hold.
I think we have time to
Read another email?
read an email. Let me go to the oldest one because we still have so many. We're down to we have 78 now to go.
I know, we did that whole listener email episode, and we got like through 5,
Yeah.
6.
Could be the opposite. Could have 4 emails to go through.
That's true.
Oh, I forgot to unmark some of these here. Okay, here's one from Bill Evans. He says, I stumbled across your show from a recommendation on another site. A Versus site, actually. If none of you play Versus, the card game from Upper Deck based on Marvel DC characters, you should check it out. I've started listening to your shows, and I'm really digging them so far. I haven't gotten through them all, but have you guys discussed the Superman Returns film? More importantly, the costume. If so, tell me what episode and I'll listen to it, but if not, I'd love to hear your take. Personally, I hate it. There just isn't anything super about it to me. Just looks like a homemade fanboy costume for some convention. Anyway, keep up the great work, and I'll keep listening. What do you guys think about that costume?
You saw it. You were one of the first ones to see it, so what do you think?
I thought there's just some interesting aspects of it. I feel that what you see in the promotional photo that they released, my take isn't, because everybody was bitching about the dark red, and it looks so dark and deep and miscolored, and I kind of feel that there's probably a reason for that. I kind of feel that maybe that it's going to look that way in that photo, but I think when it captures on film and what they're going to do to it, it's going to stand out, probably have a special effect to it that's going to make it more vibrant and brilliant. So that part of it, it doesn't bother me. I kind of think that that's what's going to happen. If it does stay the same, then I do have kind of a problem. There's no reason it should be that dark color.
It kind of looks a little like a little regal, royalty-ish,
which is what I think they were trying to get the effect of. I mean, I like the belt. I like the belt with the S symbol now.
Uh-huh.
I think that's kind of cool. I know some people were bitching about that too, but I think that kind of adds a little something to it rather than just have the oval or whatever it was. But I know the things that stuck out to me was like the shorts seemed like really short shorts, which I kind of
Speedo-esque.
Yeah, and I'm like, that just doesn't kind of work for me either. And
Well, you got to show off Brandon Routh. You got to bring in the female audience.
I guess. And also the raised emblem, the raised shield. I don't mind that. I don't think that looks bad. I think it kind of it adds a dimension to the suit. My only complaint with the shield is that to me it should be a little larger. It seems a little small.
It did seem small.
Yeah.
I look at it this way. I've lived through bat nipples. I've lived through bat ass shots. As long as the movie's good, I don't give a rat's ass what his costume looks like.
And as long as they show his nipples.
I mean, it's got to be better than Superman #1.
Oh, stop.
That's for Peter. As long as the movie's good and the script is all right and the acting is good, I don't give a rat's ass what his costume looks like.
Well, I'm
that
asking,
was the shiznit moment of the
show. I'm asking,
and that's the bottom line.
The Magic 8-Ball here. If the costume is good, it says you can count on it. Okay, so there you go.
I have faith. But I feel Bryan Singer's going to do a great job with it. I think he's very dedicated and respectful of the material previous, and he's going to build upon the strengths of the first 2 movies, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, next email is from our friend Chris Whittington, who has participated on the show. He says, Brian, Pete, Jamie, Shane, and the rest of the CGS crew, thanks for picking my tag. I'm really happy to have made a contribution to your podcast in some way. I just love what you guys are doing. You guys totally are uniting all of us kindred spirits. It's a funny story, actually. I came up with this tag while posting something on the forum, like 2 days before you mentioned the contest. I was going to post it and everything, but held back for some reason. I guess that's why. Not to mention that my birthday is on July 9th. What a killer gift. Let me know if any of you guys play City of Heroes. I'd love to hook up with you all online sometime. We shall fight side by side and swat some evil ass cheek. Sorry, got carried away there. By the way, I also want to say that I'm a big fan of Jamie and Shane. Jamie, I've always enjoyed your inputs and recommendations since the beginning and was stoked when you started appearing regularly. Shane, I'm also a big fan of toy collecting. Loved your Palisades Cooper Perry Fun segment. Very heartfelt and really cool of you. And I also got into comics by reading G.I. Joe. Larry Hama was the friggin' man. Those silent issues ruled. Man, what a hard sell that was when I was 10. Hey guys, read this G.I. Joe comic. They deal with real issues, man. Blank stares all around. If only they could have read the Billy and the Crimson Guard story arcs. Ah, the good old days. Later, Geek Brothers. Chris Whittington.
Hey, Jamie, I'm looking forward to your input, too.
That's supposed to be later, Peter. That's later.
Oh, boy. I think
let's do some more. Yeah,
we have time for one or two more here. Here's one from Catherine.
Hey.
From Philly. She says, well, goodness gracious me, my name mentioned by a Comic Geek Speak listener. Somehow that's more delightful than a mention by Mr. Curry himself, referring to Adam Curry. Keep your eye out for an audio Stump the Rios that I'll be sending along to you. I figure since the one I posted on the forums pretty much can't be used, I should just think of 3 new questions. Oh, and do you know any of the other comic book conventions in Philly this year? I miss Wizard World because, well, basically an energetic 2-year-old and paper don't mix, but he's getting better about that by the month. Someday I hope to even haul up my comic book collection from the crawl space into the livable area of our house without fear of finding pieces of X-Men everywhere. Well, I think in our last episode, we just told Catherine where she could find, Jamie said it's in that hotel that's near the street that's by that big highway that's in Philly.
If you take a plane.
It's in the Ramada Inn.
We also put on the forum, somebody posted.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? I asked
like hundreds of conventions.
Hey, anybody have a list of and it's like, shronk. So we'll have to put that maybe even on a sticky or something.
But just to recap, it's the Ramada Inn, and what is it, the 31st, you said?
Yeah, July 31st.
And
July
it's, what, Island Avenue?
Something, well, I think there's a lot of hotels on Island Avenue or something, so I'm just guessing that it might be on there. I don't know.
And that convention is mostly about back issue bins and retailers and less. They have a few people.
Yeah,
every once in a while.
Boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So there you go, Catherine. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, man. Man, some of you guys send these enormous emails. I mean,
you want to save that one for
cool.
another one?
We got to save it for when we have more time.
Try find a shorter one.
I don't have that long.
Hey, that's cool, though. I mean, people are taking time and
Oh,
interacting, and that's what it's all
we
about.
love it.
You know?
It's just like there's another one, another.
So
novel.
we don't want to produce the wrong message here. That
One of these days we'll have to print them all out and make a letter column for ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow. God, every single one. It's like a Bible here. Okay, here we go. This one's from Adam Tebow. I just listened to episode 35, and I was delighted to hear you guys use my Stump the Rios questions. My email told me that had been bounced back, so I figured it never got to you guys. I'm using my work email address in hopes that it will get to you in an unscrambled form. Sorry about not leaving my name. I was so involved in trying to come up with the questions, I forgot to take credit for them. Oh, so that's the one that didn't have a name. There we go. Adam Thibault. And it's must be French because it's spelled all funky, and he has the phonetic spelling for me. So, let me see if I can find one.
So he's being Brian friendly, is what you're saying?
Here's another one. Oh boy, okay. This one's from Danny Brunel. Hey, I started listening to your show once it was put into the iTunes podcast directory. Your show rules. Anyways, Me and my dad fight all the time about who's the better Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner or Hal Jordan. I just want an opinion from you guys. Wow, that's cool that he fights about that with his dad. That's going to be me and my kid, you know? Well,
They actually fight it out with power rings.
yes. Instead of arm wrestling, they blast each other. What do you guys think? Peter's
Chip.
with this smirk on his face.
No, I don't fall into that any of those characters. Because I like Hal Jordan. I grew up reading Hal Jordan, and then Kyle came about, and I went, oh, okay, there's Kyle. And the one aspect, obviously, and I'm going to be biased about it, the one aspect about Kyle that I didn't like was when he started dating Donna Troy, because I thought that was really forced, just because he was in Titans, and it was kind of a forced relationship.
And she should have been dating you?
Yes, exactly. She should have been dating me. But it was just seemed so... I don't think she ever would have really done that.
I always thought Jade and Kyle made a good couple.
Yeah, that was cool. But so I think he's great, and I'm glad they did not like kill him off or anything. Like I want him to be around. There's how many Green Lanterns, you know? He can stay around.
I agree. I don't like to. I'm more was always a big Hal Jordan fan, but Kyle grew on me as I continued to read. I didn't drop it because of what happened. I continued to read it, and I enjoyed it. And I think Kyle grew as a character, which he just became just as strong to me as Hal did.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for almost 12 years now. I mean, This is not just a fly-by-night character now.
Exactly. And I think they set it up well. I think they did the smart thing, like you said, about not killing him off, because it sets it up that you can have the core now, that he can lead the core, and he can be that same level of Green Lantern, or similar to a level of Green Lantern as Hal Jordan is, and he can take that and train new Lanterns and see how the core goes. Hopefully that book will do well, and that's where we'll see him, you know.
So I guess he's not going to get an answer from us which one's better.
Nobody's willing to take a choice?
I never read any comics with Hal Jordan in them because I haven't.
John Stewart?
I was going to say Salak, but
Chip is my
I was going to say Chip.
Chip is the best Green
the
Lantern.
best Green Lantern ever.
Tomar Ray.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's Chip. The answer is Chip. He has a PS here now. I'm not sure if this is a combination of typos or if it's some like urban skater slang that I don't understand, because he says, P.S. Fantastic Four was Freking Sweer. So I don't know if he meant freaking sweet or if Freking Sweer is some kind of word lingo that I'm not familiar with. So I have no idea.
We be not from the hood, so.
I mean, it's funny because it could be something, but it could just be a typo. And sometimes people have to, check your emails. I try to read some of these on the air, and I'm like, what are they trying to say? And I don't understand it. And
Spell check.
Yeah, wow, okay. But thank you, Danny. Freaking Sweer. That should be our
Sweer.
maybe he was extremely intoxicated.
Who knows? That could be a new catchphrase.
It could be. We're going to coin it. If it was a typo, we're making it a new. We're
What do you think
of
Superman Returns? It's going to be
Freaking Sweer.
You will live forever, Danny.
Yes.
You will live forever.
You don't know what you've created.
You know what?
You better write it down.
I'm actually going to write that down.
See how it works?
So we are going to start using that as our new phrase now.
Freaking Sweer.
Freaking.
Freaking
Sweer.
Okay.
And it's ing, not in. So it's Freking Sweer. Yeah, you got to say Freking Sweer.
Very good.
That's awesome. That's the best part of that email.
Oh.
Alrighty.
Oh,
We're
wow.
over an hour.
Yeah, we're good.
We're done.
We're at our time limit
Stick a
here.
fork in us.
Yeah.
Oh, this episode was Freking Sweer, I'll tell you that much. Oh,
The 8-ball says that.
oh my God.
8-ball now.
That's crazy. All right. If you want to send us an email, it will go to comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. That's where you can send all your letters, all Geeks of the Day, all Stump the Rioses.
Stump the Rioses with 3 questions and
answers. Yes. Also,
And your name.
Yes, and your name and where you're from. Our blog is comicgeekspeak@blogspot.com. Thanks to Bob at GameCircuit.net for hosting all our files. Vote for us at Podcast Alley and subscribe to us through iTunes. You can get a t-shirt if you would like. They're $10. That includes shipping. You can order that on our blog. And I think that's all. So once again, we are Comic Geek Speak, uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time. See you next time.
Bye.
Oh, shoot. Yes, that was me completely screwing up and swearing and turning the wrong volume knob down. Once again. We were freaking Sweer up until the very end, throwing professionalism right out the window. See you next time.